It's a pleasant good evening, everyone, wherever you are. I know people would like to say good morning, good afternoon, and all of that. But, irrespective of your time zone, we'd like to welcome you to our 161st edition of our broadcast here in the Issues Room this evening. We're broadcasting live from Pennsylvania, the city of Philadelphia, and this evening we'll be joined by Moses Sandy, who is in Delaware, and also Alphonso, who is out there in the suburban part of Philadelphia. We'll also be joined by one of our colleagues who will be discussing here, journalist Jackson T.S. Seaton, who is also a mathematician by profession, and Ambassador Francis Dooner, who will come to us from North Dakota. But this evening, we're going to have a great conversation, so we want you to join us. Welcome all of you folks from everywhere. Please share the link. Please invite others to join us here. It'll be a great conversation. We'll be talking about the case being made by pundits that President Weah doesn't deserve a second chance. A second chance meaning a second term to be president of Liberia come October 10th this year. As you and I know, we'll go into our national elections on October 10th. We'll be voting for the Liberian president and also some senators and legislators. And so it's a general and presidential elections, and this comes around every 6 years. So, folks, are already gearing up. The voter registration ended, the national census ended, and all of those things had their own shortfalls. Are we prepared? There are presidential candidates in the race: Joseph Boakai, Alexander Cummings, of course, the incumbent Mr. Weah. We have Tier 1 Gonglo, who is a counselor. We have Dr. Telford Ammons, Dr. Clarence Moniba, and a lot of others who have put a hat in the race. So this season is about the politicians and who going to, emerge victorious to lead our country out of where the country is currently is. Many say the current president, hasn't done well. Uh, Corruption is everywhere. The lack of rule of law. The country is filthy, and it's not to be put on him, but the people his lieutenants he put in place, he's not holding them accountable. The lack of, basic incentives in the country. Light and water is on and off, road network connectivity. So many things we'll be looking at here tonight. So we encourage you to join us. Our broadcast is on Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we also broadcast in Liberia during the 11 p.m. time on that end. Again, thank you for joining us, Fergie. You good to see you. Let's go now to the lineup. We'll bring in Moses Sandy. We'll bring in Alphonso Yena, and we'll bring in Jackson T.S. Seaton. Francis did send me a quick text. He will be joining us very shortly.
Sure.
Gentlemen, you guys looking good from your end. It was a wonderful day yesterday. Was a rainy day, heavy downpour. I don't know about your end, but it was really heavy downpour. And today it just turned out to be mild but beautiful sunshine just to, ease that heat. How is it on your ends?
Well, for today, from my end, I'm sure Mr. Cito and I we're on the same page. From our end, the weather in Delaware today is very beautiful. Yesterday it was really, really wet. It was very wet. But let me use this opportunity to say hi to all of you, including my friend and brother Jackson Seaton, who are having to be the president of the Liberian Association in Delaware. The president-elect, the mayor will be inaugurated soon. So, Mr. Seaton, Alphonso, and all of you, it's a pleasure to meet all of you over Volcano. It's always good
Alfonso?
being in
Yeah,
the issues room with you. Yeah.
definitely. Likewise, I'm glad to be here. See you guys after a few days of not, coming together. And I think the conversation is also going to be real exciting and informative as well. I see Brother Sito in his office. It looks like it's a very lucrative office to borrow a word
Many
from.
men are president of Delaware Library Association. Did not fun.
Man got a lucrative job in the Delaware Association. No, but it's glad to see you, be with you all. I'm happy to be here. Yep.
And quickly, Manipele Kesumbo, welcome. Thank you for joining us from St. Louis City in Missouri. Well, Jackson, a lot of folks know you and a lot of folks don't know you. Just, a minute or two, just tell the folks who is Jackson Seaton.
Well, thank you, Mr. Shelton, for inviting me to the show today. As you already stated, my name is Jackson T.S. Seaton. I'm a former editor of the Inquirer newspaper in Liberia. I currently reside in the state of Delaware. Recently, I was elected as the president of the Delaware Librarian Association. I am a founding member of the Resuscitation of Agile, the Association of Librarian Journalists in the Americas. I served as the Delaware Valley chapter president for a long period of time before retiring from that position. And so I'm happy to be here for all of us to sit down and discuss issues affecting our country. As you all know, our country is at a crossroad. Elections are due within the next 4 months. The question is, are all of those candidates that are running, who should the Liberian people elect? That is the questions we try to discuss today. And I hope we can have some frankful discussions and that people will understand that whatever, from my perspective, whatever information or whatever I'll be saying it as a personal, those are my personal views. And I believe that as Liberian or somebody who originated from Liberia, I'm entitled to my personal view when it comes to the political dispensation in Liberia.
Fair enough, fair enough. Dr. Iman Sumo watching from Delaware, Fluma Livingstone. Good evening, my brother. How you doing? Well, I'm not sure if we're going to be carrying memory link tonight. Dr. Sumo did not put pen to paper, so maybe he might send it later. But as it is, we're gonna have the what type of country is this, and it's gonna be a good one because I was just laying there last night, gentlemen. I was thinking about some of the things that we continue to suffer as a people, and it's only common in our country. I don't know about other places, but Liberia is just a special case. But Moses, Alphonso,
Yeah.
just the other day we had the opportunity to listen to our sister podcast, the Spoon TV, or Spoon Talk, put it that way, Spoon Talk, and Senator James Barney, who is from the National Patriotic Party of Liberia, and he was chairman. Don't know if he still is, but
He still is.
yeah, we know that it seems as though everybody's getting splits here and there. Joel Howard Taylor is owning the party, so everybody owning a party now. Party has become a property, a personal property. So he was guest on Spoon Talk, and he talked about why President Weah shouldn't be president for a second term. He threw out a litany of important things, and you and I know of those things. Why it is true that we're not in the country, we're still following the political uh, current day leadership, the atmosphere of what's trending, and so it was good coming from an insider. Here's a man who had connection, right? Because the NPP uh, merged with the CDC as one of the parties that formed the collaboration, calling the CDC from the Congress to a coalition of democratic change. The current vice president in Liberia is the former wife of President Charles Taylor, who was the person who established the NPP from the National Patriotic Front of Liberia, the NPFL, from a military machinery into a political machinery to contest our 1997 elections. If I'm serving the history right, gentlemen, and you can help out here. And so this coalition now seem to be going separate ways, a segment of the guys. And so Senator Barney came here. When I say came here, had a conversation on Spoon Talk, and he said a lot. And because of the time, we want to go straight to the video to capture some of the things he talked about, and we can come back and hold this conversation. But we wanted to make sure that someone in power, a senator, a sitting senator who is in the first branch of government, has his own take on the matter. Fair enough?
Yeah, fair enough. And Volcano, please just give me a few seconds. Let me break this story. We got two top stories, breaking stories. The first one has to do with the CEO of Spoon's Communication Network. Today, June the 13th, Mr. Waterspoons and others accused of selling fake nursing diplomas, 7,600, which netted uh, 114 million US dollars. He should have been in court today, but Mr. Waterspoon, through his legal representatives, filed what they call a continuance. They filed a legal documentation requesting for an extension of the hearing. So he will be going to court, I'm told, in October. So the case, currently as I speak to you, was continued. Now, the second story that, and I want all Liberians, and this is very important. This has to do with ULA. Very soon, credible sources from the city of Philadelphia have confided in the issues room that very soon ULA will be in the news for the wrong thing. I just want to keep the people on their toes. Very soon, the story will break, and I'm giving you the hint. That's not the kind of story you want to hear about ULA. That's not the kind of story you want to hear about anyone that you consider to be a community leader. I would like to pause for there because everything seems to be, crumbling. Someone has pled guilty, has been convicted. It's just a matter of sentencing. So I'd like to pause for at that level. The next time we come, we will break the story in detail. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, my man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. So let me.
Wow,
Well, Francis
that's a big one.
yeah,
Yeah. It's a
Francis
big one. Yeah.
background. He hasn't shown up yet, so we'll come to him. But anyway, he's no stranger. Let's go to the clip here from the sitting senator James Barney.
We are confronted with the situation of unemployment in our country.
And quickly, let me make this point clear that if you're watching now, this is not Spoon talk. This is the issues room, but we're using an excerpt from a conversation I was held with the guest the other day, Senator James Barney. So please watch the logo. It is the issues room. Thank you.
The biggest problem we have right now in the country is unemployment. When we decided to support President Weah, it was our thinking that the president had rubbed shoulders with billionaires who own soccer clubs in the world. He had friends who were multimillionaires, and all of these people were looking for places to invest their money. And Liberia, having been endowed with gold, diamond, bauxite, we thought he would be able to attract some of these people to the country. And up to this point, 5 years after, the president has not been able to attract one, just one direct foreign investment to the country. And for me, this is his best. He has no other best to offer. And that he's not been able to do so tells me clearly he doesn't have the capacity to do so, because he has to be able to firstly convince those who know him. And all of them, of course, would desire to invest in a place where he presides as president. If he's not able to do that, it baffles me that he will be able to attract other people into the country. So unemployment It's zero. And employment is the most important. And if he cannot do that, then of course he's not going to do a lot. Employment is associated with collecting taxes. The more people who work, the more taxes you collect. The more taxes you collect, the more money you have to do the roads, the more money you have to take care of the hospitals, the more money you have to take care of the schools. Unemployment has hit the roof. Almost all of the major investments in the country were investments that the president made in the country. So he disappointed us there. Unemployment, he failed flat. Then you talk about the hospitals. Before I came to this program, I evaluated the health situation. I made research, and I challenge you to please call to the hospitals around the country. Since January to the end of May, this government has not given any public hospital any money for operation to run the hospitals from January till now. I did my research. They will come and say that's not true. I challenge the government to publish the checks that they have issued to these hospitals. Say Grand Crew, for instance. From January to May, we have issued 3 checks to the hospital. You don't want them to come and explain anything. Just issue the checks. Publish the checks. Give us copies of the checks. Let the public see for themselves. The checks will explain everything. In Grand Crew, we've given 3 checks since January under this fiscal budget. We gave the first 20,000, yes, the check. We gave it second 30,000. We gave 40,000. They cannot do it. That's a challenge. Go to the hospital in Grandia. It's the situation all over. They do not know how these hospitals are run. Even fuel for the generators, for the ambulances, the people do not have. People die in the hospitals for not having common things like fuel to run the generators. Come to the community colleges. Let's begin with TU. It's not a community college, the Tottenham University. That's the one in my county. From January to May, this government has not given a dime to the Tottenham University. I challenge them to publish the checks that they have given the university. Let's go to the community colleges, the one in Zwedru. They cannot publish it because they basically have abandoned the hospitals, they've abandoned the schools. And guess what? While these professionals are in the counties doing their best, the Congress has its officials going around these very counties with millions and millions of Liberian dollars, and we just dash it to people for them to support the president's re-election. These hospitals need that money. And where in the world the chairman of the ruling party will go in one county, give 15 million, go to the next county, give 10 million, go to the next one, give 9 million. By the time you cover the country, you have spent almost 3-4 million United States dollars when the hospitals don't have money. The last time the American ambassador talked about the hospitals being empty, they argue, we do not want them to have press conferences. Let them just publish the checks. Let's begin with for Redemption Hospital or the hospital in Grand Crew. That's how sad the situation is. Because the ambulances can move, you know how the people get sick people to the hospital? They use motorbikes. They have the sick patient sandwiched by the rider and the family who's behind that person. Whether you are a pregnant woman or not, that is how you get to the hospital. Because these people have abandoned the hospital. They're more concerned about President Weah's re-election than they are concerned about health delivery, than they are concerned about education. The challenge is out to them. Let them publish the checks for the various institutions, the health centers, the universities. Let's come to the issue of roads. I've heard the president and his supporters say the president is doing very well with the roads. Are they kidding? We have 3 major highways in this country, from Banga to Lofa, from Ganda to the southeast, from Bassa to the southeast. Of course, you got the one going to Bapalu, but the 3 major ones, because those ones go through several counties, those rules have been abandoned. You cannot get to the southeast. 3 years ago, I invited the Tottenham University finance team to meet the finance minister. We sat in his living room. Buddy Gray represented TU, Etu Wesley represented TU, and Emmanuel Hammond, the controller. We sat there and we discussed what little help we could give the university. That was 3 years ago. They are my witnesses. I told the Minister of Commerce, you are from Maryland. The president is from the Southeast. The pro tem is from the Southeast. The deputy speaker is from the Southeast. The speaker is from the Southeast. If nothing is done about this rule, 2, 3 years from now, the rule will be impossible. And I can assure you, I will not be with you people. I said that to him in the presence of these people that I'm naming. When you get on that rule and you are an official of government, you will feel very bad about yourself, because the people will insult you. They will humiliate you. They will say all the worst things about you. And you cannot blame them, because you are the one they elected to look up to you. We talk and nobody listens. Between Grand Gide and River G, the towns and villages are very far apart. You can ride 1 hour, you will not reach a town. And when the road spoils there, as it has spoiled now, and the car cannot cross, the people sleep by the wayside. You're not talking about sleeping there for 1 day. You're not talking about 2 days. You're talking about weeks, because the trucks are not able to move. They will take maybe 1 week. You pull me, I pull you. We dig and dig. And the mothers and their children will sleep at the roadside. They cannot walk to any village. And if the president is not able to do these major roads, the highways, we are not saying pave the road. We are saying just clear the mud. And we forewarn you. We told you it will happen. You just neglected the people. Those people will stay there and sleep at the roadside. And when the rain is coming, they will cramp up in the car. So if they cannot do the highway, they cannot do these major roads. What's about the feeder roads? What's about the roads that go to the towns and villages? All of these roads were intact before we took over. Now they cannot do the main roads, certainly. All of the roads to the towns and villages are in bad shape. Every day they talk about, see the electricity, the president is doing very well with the electricity. That's not true. The electricity in Maryland was in Maryland before the president became president. The Unity Party-led government negotiated with the Ivorian government to get the electricity into Maryland. The Unity Party-led government negotiated with the Ivorian to get the electricity into Grand Gide. The Unity Party-led government negotiated with the Ivorian to get the electricity into Nimba. Madam Salih had to talk to the Americans to get the hydro rehabilitated. President Weah and the coalition did not do anything about the electricity. You should not claim the glory. From Plebo, where the electricity was before President Weah took over, from Plebo to Grand Cru, the first 2 towns in Grand Cru, is less than 10 miles. The electricity has been in Plebo for as long as the president has been president. The people from Grand Cru would take motorbike to come to Plebo to get ice or get cold water or charge their phone. The president will get from Plebo into Grand Cru and see the people use Jacko lamb. It takes just a will to get a current to Grand Crew for 5 years. If you can do it 1-2 years, I will understand. For 5 and 6 years, no effort made, because on the way to Grand Crew, you're going to have Bolobo having current, Rowan having current. Make the effort. What if we're depending on the president to negotiate for the legislature to come from Cote d'Ivoire? So the president has failed us. Rub against her. We were on that for more than 3 months, basically because as much she was trying to control both the executive and the legislative branch of government. So I did not support Madam Salif. But guess what? Even sometimes on Saturdays, when I'm chilling with my friends, I'll get a call from the president. Madam Salif will call. At the other end of the phone, I will hear her say, Representative Bani, can you come over? And I'm like, Madam President, I'm sitting with my friends. I'm not dressed to come to the mansion. She will say, I said, come. And I will go as I was. And she will ask me, I want to know what's happening at the hospital in Maryland. What's happening with the Tottenham University? What's happening? What do I need to know? Sometimes I will say, Madam President, the health center has not received the money for last month. And she will say, wait a minute, let me call Amara. Amara, Representative Bani is right here. He said the hospital have not got the money for last month. What's the problem? He will say, we are processing it. Under Madam Salif, the health centers had 250,000. They always got all the money. Despite the budget was below $500 million. Under this government, they reduced it to 100,000. Even at that, 5 months now, they haven't got it. Madam Salif was in as close as I am to President Weah. There's not one day that he has ever called me to say, I want to know what's happening. And if he will not call me, then I can imagine he never called any of the other people to know what's happening. The president cannot run the country. He's not able. He's not even aware of what's happening around him. You know, he's not. We talk about the seditions.
I beg you, Senator, I beg you, folks. We're going to give the senator another 5.
Always happening under the president. There's a tendency that the seditions will glorify the president for the good that he does, and they will hold other people responsible for his inabilities and inadequacies. I listened to the president give his sona. I never heard the president mention how he intends to tackle drug abuse in our country. That's the menace in the country now that is destroying the future of the young people. People from the president's office will go to ghetto and give Zogos money, knowing that those kids are looking up to the government to save them. You give them money, they are addicted, they're going to take drugs, and you say we refer to you as rescue mother. They've destroyed the image of the country. If we do not get President Weah out, there's no investor, serious investor who's going to come with the image of the country this way. And I have reached a point that the country is bigger than my relationship with President Weah or anybody around President Weah. I'm clear about that. The last time I said to the press that the president has not been able to do anything meaningful in the country from the sporting world. And they said, I was saying he should use taxpayers' money to build stadium. That's not true. The ministerial complex was not built by taxpayers' money. Even the SKD was not built by taxpayers' money. President Doe talked to the Chinese. The Somalia Drive was not built by taxpayers' money. The hydro was not rehabilitated with taxpayers' money. The Americans did that. If you are not able to convince the football world where you serve as one of the best, who are you going to convince? So basically, the president has failed. It's about time that we, in my opinion, rescue this country. Of course, we have to rescue the country before we fix it. So I want to stop here and give you an opportunity for us to talk.
All right, gentlemen. Let me just remove that from the screen and recap quickly so we can look at some of these issues. Okay. So again, Senator Barney is from Maryland County. He's a member of the National Patriotic Party of Liberia, who is the current chairman, and he talked about when President Weah was in the running in the runoff, and the decision was to be made. They were under the impression that this man had international clout. He had connections out there. He was a soccer icon, global figure, peace ambassador, and all of that. And he would attract, international investors. And since 2017 to now, you and I know nothing is actually happening in Liberia. Um, he talked about the unemployment and is attributed to the fact that no investment going on in the country and the government is the only employer. So of course, it will be pick and choose some of the people who are in places working in public institutions are hand carried there. Some of them are not going through the process of the civil service. So of course, and the government cannot be the major employer in the country and employ 5 million people or 5 point something million people. So with no investment, that's not happening. He mentioned the hospitals have not received any funding since January to May. Um, the operating funds not coming. In fact, it was reduced to $100,000, and that is not coming. He talked about the colleges, particularly TU, Tubman University in Harper, Maryland County. January to May, nothing is happening. And he talked about, you know, key figures in the CDC who are going around the country, including its chairman, Moba Molu, dishing out millions and millions of Liberian dollars in the tune of 4 to 5 million US dollars on a consistent basis, trying to buy people to support President Weah. He mentioned the roads and how dilapidated the roads are, particularly the three major roads connecting the entire country. Um, and he talked about how Weah doesn't know what's happening. And, it appears as though Tua is running things. If he is the finance minister and not being reached out to make sure these allocations are being given, then nothing is happening. And he mentioned that Weah did not address the drug pandemic or epidemic or crisis in his SONA address last year or January, put it that way. So these are the litany of things he talked about. And gentlemen, you and I know that it's no secret. Liberia is right here on the global map. We know we are connected to it. Let's start with Jackson Seaton, who went to Liberia, had an impression when he was going, who was always lauding this president, giving some thumbs up to the president, and until he went and saw firsthand. Tell us what you saw, how you feel, and do you think that Senator Barney is making a case here why President Weah shouldn't be given a second term? Uh, you know, because our country comes first. Barney said that I'm very close to Weah, very close, but the country comes first. And Jackson Seaton, I'm sitting here, the country comes first, and I'm sure you're thinking the same, Alphonso and Moses, because what's going to happen here? You and I are going to leave this earth. Liberia will remain, but how we leave Liberia, I think is the issue that all of us are discussing. That is why we come here on a consistent and daily basis. Make your case, my brother.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. It is true that I went to Liberia, and quite frankly, I was disappointed by what I saw. Uh, Liberia has retrogressed more than 100 years. I was totally disappointed by what I saw. But let me go back. You know, President Weah, as you all know, in my first time meeting him, I told him that he could be president of Liberia. That was 2004. And he eventually became president of Liberia.
Are you guys made that prophecy that what we hear suffering today? Go ahead.
When he became president, Moses, Sandy, and myself, we had a phone conversation, and we said that, look, we came up to the conclusion that the kinds of people that Mr. Weah surround himself with would define his presidency. And over the last 5 years, I have now seen that When President Weah was elected and when he was inaugurated, he has several opportunities to tap into to move Liberia forward. Let me give you an example. When Madame Selig was elected the first time, the United States sent a high-power delegation to her inauguration. Who led a delegation? Former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice. Former First Lady Laura Bush was on that delegation. President Selig's second term, another high-power U.S. delegation went to her inauguration. Who led it? Who was head of the delegation? Former First Lady and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. When President Weah became president, the United States, our number one partner on earth, that all of the assistance that goes to Liberia, foreign assistance, it has to come from Washington, D.C., through Washington, D.C., putting a class over all other things. The United States sent a deputy under Secretary of State to lead the U.S. government delegation to Liberia. That was a red flag. Apparently, Mr. Weah and his people surround him, they didn't grab it that the United States was not confident in him. So they say, well, you know what, we will not send a high-power delegation, we will send other people to your inauguration. He didn't grasp that. If he had grasped that, he would have immediately started engaging the United States. But that opportunity was lost. Mr. Barney talked about employment. Employment is intertwined in several factions. You must have trained manpower. You must be able to enact investment-friendly laws. And you must be able to encourage people, give them some tax incentive for them to come and invest. But if the person is coming to invest, you need to have manpower in the country to be able to do the kind of job that investment entails. Because if you don't do that, what would they do? They will bring in foreign expatriates, like what Western Cluster is doing now to Liberia. You see that? So as a result, the money that's supposed to be used there for people to pay taxes to government, that government needs to use to be able to carry on its own program, that money, it goes right back out of the country. So, in my opinion, President Weah has so many opportunities to turn things around, and I don't see that working. And I'm sad to say that. I don't see that working in Liberia. So
Do you think it's because he has not done any major reshuffling, knowing that, and it sounds like this guy just want these guys to suck up to him, bring the money to Jamaica resort, and I said, you do what you want to do, and let's just ride this wheel.
Let me put it this way. You do not run a private corporation, neither a public corporation or a country based on friendship, loyalty, and malice. I repeat, you do not run a public corporation, neither a private corporation, or a country based on friendship, loyalty, and malice. You run a government or any corporation for that matter based on what? Qualification, competence, productivity, and integrity. Those are the things you run any corporation or government on. If you do that, you will be successful. People don't have to like you to work for you. People don't have to know you to work for you. You are the boss. You set the pace and you hold them accountable. If somebody was your opponent before, you are now the head, you bring them on board because he has something to offer. And I don't think that has been done.
Thank you. Let's hear from Alfonso, and then we'll come to Moses.
Excuse me. Yeah. Senator Bonnie raised a number of really key issues. Of course, we are aware of those issues. We are Liberia followers, we're Liberians as well. But before I go over those issues and make my conclusion, I want to say this thing. I want to challenge Senator Bonnie and other Liberians who somehow thought that George Weah was going to miraculously make a good president. I'm still listening and waiting for them to tell me what indicators they were looking at. And that is part of our failure in Liberia and even in our institutions. We like people because we know them. We like people because, they're tall, they're big, they're fine, whatever our calculations are. Not based on what we know that they know, not based on their past experiences, what they've done in the past, their record. We just elect people. And I'm afraid we're doing the same thing. We could do the same thing again. And I wanted to get that. But Senator Biden talk about we have played soccer and knew rich people and played soccer with some rich people. So somehow he thought those rich people were coming to invest in Liberia. People don't invest in Liberia or in any country, bring their money or resources in the country because they know you. They're coming to make money. They're coming to get something out of their money if they are investing. No, if nobody's going to take that 1 million and give it to you, say we'll play soccer together, so I know you, so I'm giving you money and come and invest in your country. No, if the climate is not good for them to invest in, meaning security, corruption, and all of the other things Mr. Seaton talk about, nobody's going to come and invest in your country with their money. I wish that Senator Banney and all those other people who were supporting George Weah or supported George Weah would have known that and taken those factors into consideration.
Just hold your thought there quickly. And he said it, we were under the impression. So it was impressionable decision making rather than looking at the tangibles you're talking about here.
Well,
And
let me just throw this point in.
okay then. Alfonso, just hold your thought. Let's hear from
You know, I'm one person who believes in this philosophy. You do not know the worth of somebody until you give them responsibility. There are some people, they didn't come from an Ivy League school. They came from low-level school and they were given responsibility and they perform. So I'm of that, I'm one person who is of that view. Not your track record, but what you can do when you are given a responsibility.
And
and,
why?
and to add to that, I think incorrigible is the word here. Is incorrigible. The guy ceases to want to learn and to grow. I think he's arrived. He has everything. He has the money. He's filthy rich. So why am I going to struggle to get anything? These people, I'm just going to come in here for one term, get all the money I can, and if I try to make the case for a second term and they dumb me enough to put me back, then so be it. And I think that's what it is, because you're right, Jackson. People can learn on the job. I always say Samuel Doe was zero. But by the time he left, at least he was 60 to 65%, my people.
So here's what I would say to that. People do learn. People do grow. We're human beings. We all learn and grow. But if you put somebody there hoping that they will learn, then expect the decay as they learn. We all don't take the same time to learn. Some people take 6 years to learn. So if that is the case, let's give President Weah another 6 years so he can keep learning. That's not the point here.
Alfonso, quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to say, like Seaton said earlier, and what Volcano is saying, there's this adage that you don't judge a book by its color, right? That you
No,
give,
it's title.
by its title. Okay, but it is good sometimes to give people the opportunity. Let them prove themselves, like Seaton said.
Okay.
We all know when Mr. Doe came to the leadership of Liberia, he came with nothing. And after a given period of time, he demonstrated to be a very good leader, even though he was autocratic. But he was a successful leader. He took Liberia from one level to another. And you heard students say earlier, people say, if this guy has surrounded himself by people that have the capability to lead, To be a leader, you yourself do not need that technical skill to do what those people do. You just need to hire the people who have those skills and have the capability to dedicate and hold people accountable. When you do that, you'll be a very good leader.
So I
And
would
that's
like to
why,
claim
and
my
that's where,
time, finish
yeah.
my point at some
So,
point.
so that's where Senator Barney and the others who elected George Weah,
Yeah.
they were of the perception
Mhm.
that look, given where this man came from, they and look, whether we like it or not, networking is very important. The name is recognizable. George Weah in the soccer world. So nobody can tell me that George Weah will go somewhere and you call his name, prominent people will not recognize his name. That's what the senator is saying now. We thought that this guy would have used that opportunity
So
to improve our
when we
country.
were playing soccer, can the senator point to one networking thing that we did when you were playing soccer that
Unless,
was prove to him that somehow when become president he would network? When we was playing soccer at the height of the world, Africa best, Europe best, world best, did he network to bring any soccer thing to Liberia? The senator was just talking about supporting stadiums and stuff. Did that happen? That did not happen. If you're ready and willing to trust, especially a country coming out of war, to people to try and error and to learn, you must accept the consequences. We're facing the consequences today.
and they have accepted,
And,
that's
and
why
the
they have decided to
consequences
move
are
forward.
so.
And
So, so
I agree
let me
with
learn.
you.
Let me learn. Let me make
No,
my
no,
point.
no, let us steal his time.
I'm going to get some time to learn here. I'm
Yeah,
going to make my point.
you're
Go
protected.
ahead, go ahead.
I am going to insist that I'll make my point.
I apologize. We've
Yeah.
interrupted a few times.
Yeah.
Take your case.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the situation we're facing today is because Weah is incapable. He doesn't know what he's doing. Mr. Seaton alluded to that. Somehow we believe that he was going to learn on the job. He failed to learn on the job. That's one of the risks we took. And I'm not talking about anybody coming from an Ivy League. I'm just talking about somebody using common sense. You all talk about President Doe, how he improved. Did he go to an Ivy League to improve? No. The senator talk about the president, President Salif, calling senators and representatives and asking them about what's going on in their constituencies. Do you need to go to an Ivy League to know that?
You don't.
No, you don't need to. President Weah, as the senator said, President Weah and the speaker and the president pro tem and the deputy speaker and the minister of finance, everybody comes from the Southeast. Do they not know what's happening in the Southeast? Do you need to go to an Ivy League to do that? They simply do not know. They don't care. And so it was an error to put them there. Now I'll go very quickly, and I took us some time. Unemployment. Senator Barney is right. If people in the country don't have jobs, poverty increases. And when poverty increases, crime go up. How do we create jobs? We create the enabling environment. President Salif, I can tell you, inherited the worst economy Liberia ever had. In 2005, there was no company operating in the country. We talk about 16 point something $billion foreign direct investment. It was because the environment existed. And the senator alluded to that. The reason we have our kids in the streets today is because they don't have jobs. They don't have anywhere to go to. That's the reason why they're dancing behind every politician, because they don't have time. If somebody was supposed to report to work, I mean, they have time. Somebody was supposed to report to work at 7 in the morning. You think they would leave their job and go dance behind a politician for $10 or $20 or a t-shirt? No, they would not do that. Corruption and accountability. Since President Weah took place, he's destroyed and undermined all of the accountability institutions in the country. PPCC, Public Procurement and Concession Corporation, used to be the one under President Salif that monitored and make sure all government procurement, all concession agreements went through the proper channel. What happened when President Weah took over? He, Magay, and this guy at NPA formed their own company overnight. The same month, they gave a contract to start clearing containers at Buchanan Port. All right, healthcare. Everybody's talking about it. We had a situation here where in Lofa County, the woman was thrown out of the place because she didn't have money. Drug abuse, and this will be the final point I want to make here in this segment. Drug abuse. When we had the doctor here the other day, what did he say? $30,000 in the budget for mental health, and there's only one mental health hospital in the country, and it's in somebody's house because Dr. Grant died and they took over Dr. Grant's house. That's the only mental health institution in the country. I did some research on drugs because I tried to do a paper on it on Liberia. Liberia is not a major drug producer, except for small marijuana farms that people grow in Liberia. Where are the drugs coming from? How do they enter the country? Government officials who have connections with drug trafficking centers in Africa, Guinea-Bissau being one of those places. That's where the drugs are coming from. The $100 million drug case that recently happened, that's where it came from. And what happened to it? The U.S. government alerted the Liberian government that these drugs were in the country. You'll go and confiscate them. They did, and they arrested people. What happened? They set them free and say we're jurors. But we all know what happens in the Liberia justice system. Prosecutors decide not to press once they get press cases, once they get bribes. Judges get bribes and manipulate the process. Jurors get bribes as well. Our country decay. And gentlemen and Liberian people who are listening, as you go into elections, you have to look at preparation and ability. It should be no longer about who can dance, who comes from my tribe, who has international connection. It's about who has the foundation, the commitment, and demonstrated capability.
Let me just throw this in. And the last point that Mr. Yuno made with respect to this drug situation. While it is true that government lost this case and everybody seems to believe that this case has died, I'm hearing that this case has not died, and that within the next few months, maybe prior before the elections, there will be a major event surrounding the drugs issue.
Yeah.
And we should all be on the alert for that. That is going to alter the whole electoral process.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing. I don't know how to.
My name is Pastor.
Maybe it's being done for election purposes.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. And again, let me just make this point. You know, when President Weah, when he was elected, we said that the people that he would surround himself with would define his presidency. Look, the whole international system is a network of individuals who know one another and can help one another in times of need. And I said this one time, I called on Spoon Network. When I said, look, that time, Christian Lagarde was the president of the European Central Bank. Can Samuel Twer pick up the telephone at that time and call Christian Lagarde in Brussels? And then Madame Lagarde pick up the phone and say, oh, Sam, how are you doing? How is Liberia doing? What can the European Central Bank do for Liberia? There's no connection there. They don't know him in international circle. So that's why the government struggle to get foreign aid and also struggle to get direct foreign investment. Because there are no investment-friendly laws in the country. You don't have the trained manpower to do the people work. Our educational system is in shambles. No effort is being made to rectify that. The healthcare delivery system is also a mess. No effort is being made to rectify that. And so the country is just going on a downward spiral.
And
quite frankly, all of the other people that are in the race, I don't even see who is able to do anything. That's why I'm holding my breath and not supporting anybody in these elections.
And I said it the other day. You come in, Moses. So on the issue of the educational system, he only added what they call insult to injury by making it free. Making it free. And then you're not putting no money into it. So then what happens? It becomes
It goes down.
substandard. It
Yeah.
becomes horrible, and that is why it's what it is, because this government came to power to steal, and we're going to get for ourselves. We're not going to put money into those institutions and places where they belong. We want it for ourselves. I saw something the other day and I commented on it. I don't know if it's true, but the guy said that Nathaniel McGill closet. I mean, when you see the dollars, you get scared. Bills of US dollars. The photo is on Facebook, it's trending, but I'm not sure. I just said, well, I rent people money. But Moses, come in
Yeah.
and tell us your view on this situation, man. Listen,
Well, look,
is President Weah re-electable based on all of these things that people are saying?
I would just go back to Senator Barney's statement. His direct quote. He said, the president can't run the country. He's not able. He lacks what it takes to run the country. Let's take this to the most simplistic level. The four of us here,
I mean,
we agree, we agree that
no kind without family talking.
the four of us will agree that when you are hired at a job,
Okay, I'll tell you.
when you get hired the first time, you go through a probational period, right? 3 months. They give you 3 months. The purpose of giving you that 3 months is for you to get acclimated, get adjusted to the work environment, understand your job duties and responsibility. After 3 months, they will evaluate you to determine whether you were able to measure up or not. And if it is determined that you did not measure up, what did they do? They part way with you.
Or they extend it.
Yeah, they either extend it or let you go. Okay? So what the senator was simply telling us is that they gave Mr. Weah 6 years, or let's say hypothetically a little over 5 years, to evaluate him. And they have now gotten to the point that this man just cannot do the job. And Mr. Weah has demonstrated not only to the coalition, but he has demonstrated to the world that he lacks the capability to execute any of those responsibilities for which he was hired. Take, for example, healthcare. When the Weah administration came to power, before Weah, during the Salif administration, hospitals in the country on an annual basis, they received from the Salif administration for operational costs $250,000 US dollars. When Mr. Weah and his people came, what did they do? They reduced it from 250,000 US dollars to $100,000. And even with that, the senator said the money is not paid. It only exists in theory. We gave them $100,000. The senator challenged the government. He said, you don't say, oh, you don't call no press conferences. You just publish the checks. You publish the checks that you pay out to these healthcare centers. No ambulances. So it means that the healthcare sector of the country is in what? Shambles. Mr. Weah woke up one morning. He looked at the sky and impulsively declared what? Free public education at the university level. As we speak, Tottenham University, the senator said it, from January to May, no salary, no government investment into the running of that university. You go to LU, the buildings are leaking. The buildings are not prepared. Just the other day, professors staged a boycott. So it means that Mr. Weah has also demonstrated to the world that he says something that he lacks the capability of doing. So that is also a failure. The economy, jobs are not being created. Mr. Seaton made reference to it, creating the enabling environment. Mr. You said it, creating the enabling environment. Volcano said it, creating the enabling environment. What do they do? When you go to invest into Liberia, what did the U.S. government do? Why you think they asked Nathaniel McGill and the others to step aside? Because Nathaniel McGill and the others were accused of what? Extorting money from investors. You Volcano shelter, you carry $100,000. You want to do something. McGill asks you, reportedly, oh my man, so you want to do the $100,000 project? Then what's my cut? Oh, you say, oh, but what are you talking about? He said, oh my man, you me business.
So listen here, Sumo say, how can
Yeah.
a country of Liberia be investor friendly when the investor must come with short car pay and cold water?
Well, the man just summarize everything for me.
Yeah, let me just say this. When I went to Liberia, they much talk about rubber fee highway construction. I'm not an engineer. I am not an engineer, and I don't profess to be one. But you can see a good job that is being done. You know it is a good job. They have some pipes that they put on the road because the places are swampy area, right? So they put it covered on the road for water to be able to flow through and they build a road on top. Those pipes. Now, that's a swamp. A lot of sentiment is going to go into those pipes. The question is, how do you clean those pipes when you make the pipe so small? So that whole road construction is another recipe. The next 5 years down the road, we will have to reconstruct that road again. And I am told the construction company that was given a contract to build that road, has some connection with, I think, Nathaniel McGill.
Nathaniel McGill, yeah.
There's no track record of built any road of that.
That's what I was told. Now, here's another issue that I was told again. Liberia is the only country in the world where Operation Smile, you all know Operation Smile, right? Operation Smile goes to impoverished countries to provide free surgical procedures for people, free of charge. Liberia is the only country that is asking Operation Smile to pay for them to go there.
What?
But hold on.
That's what
I don't know how true that is.
Let me make a correction quick. Let me off. It is
charity work.
Moses, Operation Smile. Let me say this. Operation Smile has gone to Liberia long before I was born.
Oh,
yes.
So I'm coming, please. And they usually do surgery for, they call it clap lip. And so if they're asking for money, Liberian people asking for money, then it's under Weah government. It's not the previous governments, because the service was free. If it's happening,
but what the man is talking about?
I want to clarify now. Liberia, this current day,
Operation Smile went to Liberia before.
The message that John Weah government asking for.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Zito.
But let me.
And you know, a lot of the things that Senator Mani said seems, because there have been no reaction from the government with respect to this, not funding the hospital, not funding education institution, challenging the government to provide the checks of the payment that was made. It has been almost a week now a couple of days, and there have not been any reaction from the government. So that is an indication that what he said is true. And we are just buttressing what he said.
Of course.
Let me come in quick, man, gentlemen. So listen, I know you guys put your spin on this situation, but I want to go back a little bit. I want to go back because that's the way I can make the case. And I'll start with Ellen government. Ellen didn't do well with setting the tune. when it comes to the rule of law and maintaining. And I continue, and over time, since I've been in the issues room, I've mentioned it. Why you think Rwanda is settled and they're making progress? And if Paul Kagame leaves power today, I think the structure is so ingrained in the society that it would take another 50 years for somebody to mess it up, or it would take another civil war. The point I want to make here is Liberia came out of civil war. We had a country that was stable prior to the war. We had our own internal issues, but we followed the rule of law. The country was well, and then comes 14 years of civil war. A government comes to power and comes to only, whitewash the situation instead of restoring the country to a pre-war status. In terms of the economy, yes, they tried, but you're talking about sustaining the fabric of the country, renewing the vigor of people understanding the rule of law and practicing and sustaining those practices. Ellen government say, oh, you're leading people, we just came from war, and this and that, and this and that. And for 12 years, they just glide through it. And here you are. So, that's the point I want to make. You ask the question, who's going to make the change now within these candidates, the 30 candidates or more? I don't see any, because there's no time. The fact that we came out of a civil war and we did nothing to sustain and restore the true essence of responsible citizenship, that a citizen would take his garbage and bring it in the public street and throw it in the gutter every night. Responsible citizenship to say that my friend light bulb on the corner of his house, if I take it off, hey man, how the people will see, how the children will study. But he steals it. My friend Copa sitting outside there, that my fellow Liberian, he Copa out there, how water they making it. I will not see the Copa. Yeah, I will not see the Copa in the hot water to go sell it. No responsible citizenship was restored in Liberia. So it's so bad that no president now can make a difference, because until we can renew our responsibilities as citizens to be patriots and to understand where the country is, and that we collectively have to work together to get the country to the next notch. Everything Bonnie said, yes, he is a contributor rather to the failure of Weah, by also thinking that Weah, being under the impression, could make a difference. All of the people who are still in the bed with Weah, all of the people that I saw 40 legislators today throw the weight around Weah. I don't know if you guys seen the video, it's trending.
Oh, really?
40, yeah. All of these people continue to do this, and so there's no responsible citizens in Liberia today. And that is why we're where we are, because Weah will go away, but no other president can come and change the trajectory of where we are, because we've sunk so deep in the abyss. And I say this, that for us to renew, to get back to a country of civility, a country of people with pride, it starts with every citizen. The last part I want to make here, point I want to make, we're now infiltrated by foreigners. And I don't say it in a negative way, but the country is so infiltrated by foreigners. And you and I know that, Moses and all of you here, if I'm from another culture and you're from another culture, and we start to clamp, I'm rubbing my culture off on you, and you rubbing your culture off on me. And whoever has the dominance in the culture will win. And it's happening now in Liberia. That people are so brave, foreigners are so brave, because the rule of law, the breakdown in our constitution, the breakdown in our legal system, is so sad that we're losing this country by the minute, by the second, by the hour, and nothing seems to be happening. And I can tell you that no president come 2023 October 10th who will win can make any major transformation in 6 years because we have lost everything.
Well,
Um,
let me
okay.
okay, quickly, Alfonso. Let me just say that I won't say that the future of Liberia is doomed.
I didn't say that. I
Uh,
said in six
no,
years.
I mean, I'm just trying to interpret the comments that came from you guys that Liberia is now faced with what we call a leadership deficit. Nobody will be able to step up to make a change. Nobody will bring progress. And if you say that, then you're indirectly implying that the future of the
Mr.
country is
Sandy, I
doomed.
give a timeline. You're talking future here. I say in the next
Yeah,
6 years.
yeah,
No
you said it.
president can make any major
let,
transformation
let,
in the next 6 years.
let me convey my thoughts.
Yeah, but don't say
So
that
so
statement. I
so
don't want you to
so
construe that as the future of the country.
so the point I'm trying to drive here is that there are a lot of qualified people in our country. There are a lot of people who are prepared to do a better job than what we are currently faced with. The only problem that we have now, which the four of us on this podcast can agree to, is that we have a leadership in the country that is insensitive to the plight of its people, a leadership that is indifferent, a president who has no understanding of what is happening in his own country. And that's the change that Liberians are yearning for. Like the senator said, the man cannot run the country. He lacks the capability. Volcano, to lead, you must be able to understand what your job duties and responsibilities are. Unfortunately, Mr. Weah doesn't have that capability. Alexander Comey has the capability to recognize what is working, what is not working, where he wants to move Liberia to. Joseph Boakai has that capability because he demonstrated it for more than 12 years, for more than 40 years in political leadership. He demonstrated that. Tewon Gonglo has been able to demonstrate to Liberians that he knows where Liberia wants to go. He has the capability. And the others who are coming. The only man who is still struggling to understand what his job duties and responsibilities are.
No, let's change the word struggling. Is the
The,
refusal?
no,
Is the
I mean,
was
no,
the,
no, no, Volcano.
no?
That's my opinion.
Okay, but I think
I'm saying, and let me
he's not
reiterate.
struggling.
Yeah, no, he is. He's struggling.
Mm-mm.
I'm saying that Mr. Weah is still struggling to understand the responsibilities he has.
No, it's the refuser. Everybody say
Well,
yeah. There's no rocket
it's I'm that's my opinion.
Okay, go ahead.
Yours is you want to be definitive. You said
Yeah,
his refusal. I'm
yeah, it's
saying
refusal to
he's
accept it.
struggling. And, like you go to a new job, they say, my man, your job description is that you turn on the generator this morning. You do this, you do that. And then when you come, instead of executing that, you stand there and run, you asking your co-workers, oh my man, so what do I do now? I haven't been there for 5 months. And you still asking people. They say, man, this guy is clueless, man. He still hasn't understood why we hire him. So that it's the same problem with Mr. Weah.
But what if I say,
He still hasn't understood
but,
why he was hired. And that's why the senator is saying the president cannot do the job.
so
The
what if I say
president
you said
has
it?
to go. Yeah, go ahead. Let me
Let me
stop
say
there.
this. So if the man sitting down, you already taught him how to do the job, but
Yeah.
he play Ludo and check off all day, lead a generator to turn it on and sit down. Then I refuse to do the work.
That
That's
refusal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We are sitting down in Jamaica Resort and play Ludo and Choco and volleyball. He the one that wants us to stay fit while the country suffer.
And let me say this.
Yeah,
I was
Tito.
going. Let
So,
me.
so
Let
the
me.
man, yeah, let me
let-
finish quick.
Yeah.
Let me finish my
All
thought.
right. I was gonna. Yeah.
So the man refuses to do the job. The man said, the people force me here. You know what it means to force somebody into something? The man said it. The man said it. People force me on this job. So that's his refusal. He's not struggling. We are got sense. We are know what to do. But he just doesn't want to do it because they force him to do it. That's all.
I think that both of you are correct. It's just the choice of words, struggling
Absolutely. Yeah.
and able and refuser. Because even if you don't know something and you want to
And you
do it,
want land and you
still
want to do
learn
it,
it.
you will
Yeah.
do it.
So yeah, the key word I pick up from the senator and Moses, you echo it, is, and I think all of us said it, is able. Gotta be able to
Able,
do
yeah.
something.
Able to do the
The
job.
man able the job. When
And
you
able
talk,
comes, able can come with willingness too.
yes, yes,
Yeah, but that's
able
it.
to be
It's
able.
capability. Yeah.
Able comes with three key things. One, qualification, which is the know-how, the know-how. Two, experience. Have you done it before? Have you tried it before? If you did before, what happened? The third thing is competence. Competence.
So you not add willingness there, my man. Put the fourth
Well,
thing.
no, no, no. The fourth thing
Yeah,
is,
the damn.
willingness is implied. I was implying willingness. If
Yes.
you take the job, that means you want to do
You
it.
want to do it,
Yeah,
but you
yeah.
don't want
So
to
I'm,
do
so I'm I will incorporate willingness.
it.
You
It's
have to
Yeah.
be, and willingness is important.
very important.
You have to be willing,
Man, you want to do the
because
job.
if you're willing, you will learn. A lot of you talk about Samuel Doe when he became president and with the time he left office. He transformed. Now, did he measure up? I would say no, but he did transform. The Samuel Doe who gave that first speech, 1980, was not the same Samuel Doe who was speaking to us in 1989,
No.
1988. It was a different Samuel Doe. And you're right, Volcano. Willingness is very, very important. Let me just tell you a few things. Botswana is one of the best performing African countries when it comes to fighting corruption, and therefore the economy is doing very well. How did Botswana get there? Corruption in the government, all of that, and they did three key things. The same things that we did. They passed the anti-corruption law. They also passed the Declaration of Assets and Liability law. What did our president say about Declaration of Assets and the Code of Conduct? He said people must do it privately and secretly.
Yeah. People
Yeah.
don't need to know. Yeah.
No, so we don't need. The purpose is so that the public knows. We know how much you get. If you became Minister of Finance and you have one hut that was valued at $30,000, in 6 months, if you own a mansion now, we want to know where you got the money from. The people are the monitors. That's why it says public declaration. That's why it didn't say secret private declaration of assets. But the president mandated his officials to declare assets secretly or not to declare it at all. When you fly into Botswana, when you're approaching the airport, before the plane land, you see big billboard. If you are a businessman, if you are this, we don't care how much you bring in. If you come in here to play corruption, turn around and go back. We don't want you here. Botswana, according to the Transparency International Index, is one of the highest, if not the highest, probably behind Seychelles, or they're probably overtaking Seychelles right now. Yes, Mr. Salif did not fight corruption by prosecuting people and sending them to jail. And that's one key area where she failed. She did a lot of things, but she failed in prosecuting corruption. Having said so, she put a lot of anti-corruption and accountability institutions into place that were starting to work. The Anti-Corruption Commission, the Asset Declaration, the PPCC. If those institutions, if somebody other than or somebody who knew better had taken over and really solidified those institutions, we'll be far off today. 3 government officials were sanctioned by the U.S. government under President Weah. Where are they today? They're walking around town, still enjoying the money in the store. The company that the 3 of them formed that were doing business with NPA, where's that company? It's probably still functioning today. Nobody is being prosecuted for corruption in Liberia under President Weah. And you want people to come and invest in the country? You can have all the personal connections in this world. I agree with personal connections. They're very important. Networking is critical. This world is an interpersonal world. It's good for you to know Lagarde or whoever is somewhere. But did the American government know us? They invited our president here. Our president was sitting there in front of Biden when they gave other countries money and told us to go do better. We have to perform. Performance is critical. Performance is important. And we as voters, we as citizens, we as commentators must insist on these things. And now let me make this final note. And I always say this to myself and my friends. If you note, corruption, government is not from in the sky. Government is human beings. It's the people in it. They are our friends. If we sit down with them, drink beer with them, and eat some of the money in the street, then we'll come back tomorrow and say government corrupt, but we don't shame them. We're part of the problem. We need to begin to take responsibility and call a spade a spade. When your friend is in government or is in a position of power and is abusing people and is stealing money, tell him or her that. Make it clear. That's the only way we can move forward. They can't be our friends in a corner on a beer table in our homes. Then when the gang government will say, the government, what is this government? People, the government is the same human being you were just hanging with yesterday. He's responsible for your sister dying in the village because he didn't send the money there. The ambulance that was not available, the last trip President Weah made to River G County, he was in the county. Lena Panorama spoke to the doctor, the head doctor at the hospital in River G County. And he said, UN gave us a generator, but we can't use the generator because we don't have the cable, and the cable to run the wire from the generator house to the hospital cost $3,000. And they couldn't get it from the government. The man had to take money from a pocket of some ambulance to go bring a pregnant woman to the hospital. The Minister of Finance is your friend, is our brother. He's sitting down there. The president, the senator, they're not sending 500. Who's killing those people? It's them. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, let me just come in.
Who your thought? I just want to go to intermission quick. Just intermission. If you just joining us, we'd like to remind you that you're here with us in the issues room. This is our 161st edition. We have Jackson Seaton, Moses Sandy, Alphonso and myself, Volcano Shelton here. We're discussing whether President Weah deserves his second term come October 10th. We looked at some of the many issues being put forth here tonight. We'd like to welcome Manin Sumo, Emmanuel Jackson, Liberia, Flomo Livingstone. We say thank you for joining us. Pepper Tobogi. Man, my man, you're making my mouth. Yeah, man, Pepper Tobogi. Gabriel N. Daniels, Ram Snotton, Raymond Clark, Fergie Monu, Malvinia Wallace, Manipele, Sumo, and the rest of you who are watching. We see the numbers rising. Continue to share. This is a good conversation, so we want you to share the link. We'll open the line very shortly at 8:30, and then you have the opportunity to call in. Shaggy McAfee, thank you for joining us. Make your case a point, rather.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, Liberia is a country that is very difficult to govern. Let's go back to Rwanda. Paul Kagame was able to transform that country because what he did, he provided the leadership and he inspired his people. As Volcano was saying, you look at your friend, they have a co-part, and you know that co-part that what your friend depends on to cook his food. You go and steal it. Then you think it's a good thing. Your brother in America sent you money to build his house. You take that money, you squander the money, you don't build the brother house. It has happened to so many Liberians. They went back home, they shortcut them, some of them die in that process. Liberia is a very peculiar and difficult group of people to govern. So as a leader, when you are governing them, you have to provide that leadership that will hold them accountable while they are trying to hold you accountable. And I don't see that happening in this current administration. Let's go back to Ellen Sirleaf. Yes, Ellen Sally set up all of the integrity institutions. But what happened? She failed to prosecute her own son. He squandered the money from the car. What happened? Nothing. So the whole issue of corruption, why it is true that we're going to blame George Weah for some of the level of corruption that is happening in Liberia, there was some level of corruption in the early government. And both of them have not done a good job for the Liberian people. And I have said it from day one. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was not the best person for Liberia, period. Why did I say so? She supported all of the insurrections that decimated that country. And when she came there, what did she do? She did not put in place even a succession plan. All of the gains that were made, the so-called gains that were made, what happened to all of them? Go look at Rabat International Airport. Look at Rabat International Airport. I was disappointed when I went to Liberia when I saw Rabat International Airport. All of the fanfare about Rabat International Airport.
We told that the building is leaking now.
Is that what she could offer the Liberian people? Look at the old bridge. She built infrastructure. Look at the old bridge. The same old bridge that was built 60 years ago, it crumbled. They put the same old bridge there. No innovation. What are we doing? We're not helping our people. And that's
no responsible citizens in our country.
That's what I'm saying.
Citizens are not responsible.
That's why I'm not supporting any of the guys that are running to be president, because I don't believe that any of them, they are up to the task. The situation in Liberia is enormous and it's complex. And all of these people that are parading around saying that they want to be president, they have the same people that work in previous government. We know some of their shady deeds, and they are the same people that are trying to come back. Give me a break.
Those are the recyclables, Moses.
Yeah.
We are in a serious conundrum, Moses.
I know we are faced with a serious challenge, but for us to say that we don't see any difference that any of them will make, then we are indirectly suggesting that we want to sustain the status quo. And that is not what we want.
We don't want to sustain the status quo, but what I'm saying is all of these individuals that are running to be president,
the
same conversation we are having.
Yeah,
that's what happened October.
Yeah,
we'll have the same conversation. The only thing we should pray, we should all pray for is long life.
Yeah, but like the point we're making, right?
Pro, welcome, my man. Welcome. Yeah. Good to see you here. Go ahead.
There's some
way. I know that Vahan or what.
That wasn't high, borrow.
You know, there's something that the senator said to tonight that really stood out, and guys, he told me. They said development, man by nature is a selfish being. Like the four of us here, if we were at the top of leadership, I think it would be embarrassing for anyone to go to our country of birth and see that after 5 years of leadership, the people will leave from your country of birth to go to Maryland to charge cell phone batteries. That's sad. Grand Crew County. You heard the senator say.
And the one with the highest population now.
The people get on motorbike, Mr. Seaton, to go to Maryland to charge cell phone. Yeah, man.
Moses,
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to travel with Senator Beatrice Sherman, your in-law. She was senator from Grand Crew County during the Taylor administration. We drove by road from Monrovia, we passed through Buchanan and River Cess, and that particular corridor was built by logging companies.
Okay.
Not the Liberian government. So we used that route, and we got to Greenville. We stopped in Greenville. We took a canoe, Atlantic canoe. We were on that canoe for 6 hours from Sino to Sastan. We got to Sastan. I visited Sastan High School. The students are sitting on the floor.
Wow.
They say this is an airstrip. Look, I traveled through the length of Grand Cru and I saw the degradation of our people. And I still don't want to believe, and I still do want to believe, based on what Senator Barney said,
Yeah,
the same situation is still happening today.
I'm telling you.
What type of country we
Let,
have?
let me make a quick point of correction here. Mr. Seaton is not saying there is no competent opposition, Mr. Livingstone. What we're saying, and I supported this argument, that because of the depth of where our country has fallen,
Exactly.
deep in the abyss, your presidential candidates from the coming the Baka order, then they can't do nothing.
They can't.
They can't do nothing in 6 years. We say the country has gone back 100 years. We thought that Ellen lived 12 years meant something, and Weah has put us back to 50. So who's going to take us out of this 100 years the Civil War put us to? So we have competent Liberians. We have them.
So let me make.
I'll come in quickly. Because we've struggled so much, and we've been looking for this miracle wind to clean up the situation. The people have gotten to a place of learned hopelessness, learned helplessness. It would take so much out of a president who will come. You need someone who means business, who is willing to work, to put themselves behind and not in front, and it will not be in 6 years. That's the point.
And surround himself with the right people.
We got competent people, my man.
So yes. You guys are correct.
Been
You're
driving.
right.
Yeah.
Liberia would not Liberia, and if that's one of the mistakes we make as Liberian people. We think a president will come and in a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year time, even 6 year time, they will just turn everything around. That's impossible. Nowhere in the world has that happened, and nowhere in the world will that happen. Having said so, I will say, since I borrowed Moses had a little bit, I would agree with
put it back on.
Yeah.
Put it back on. Let me make this point quick to Flomo Livingstone.
Okay.
Who is that someone? Who is that someone, Flomo? That someone could be in these 30 candidates.
Yeah,
maybe,
that's what was in. Yeah.
I'm coming. But maybe that someone is not electable now. So another 6 years gonna be the lagging years. Because that someone is not electable. Your Liberian people, all of you are looking at Weah, Bweka, Cummings. You ain't even thinking Gonglo could make a difference. Then Telfo Amos or any of the other people. They're way behind the line. So your 3-4 runners that the people then you're looking at, and we're not sure. But the point I want to make here, you need these 6 years to fix the economy, the country, or to rescue the country. Because that the platform they're running on now, the rescuer, all Gonglo say will sweep the country, say daddy.
Yeah.
So,
And let me just come in. The sad part about it is that none of them has given the Liberian people a concrete plan on how they are going to govern when they are elected.
But you're talking about govern Jackson, the people say they won't fix, they won't rescue, and they won't sweep.
You have to do. Yeah, everything has to be the situation.
So he has the point.
Hold on, let me finish. The situation in Liberia has to be handled holistically.
Of course,
holistically. So if you say you want to sweep, you must be able to tell us when you sweep, what else do you do when you finish?
Yeah, after sweeping.
What will you do?
when you finish sweeping, when you finish sweeping, you put a dead to rail line. Who will say that? Go ahead.
That's what we are saying.
So
you finish sweeping the team, and then you get no garbage truck to remove the dead.
What type of country is this coming to them?
Most I have the hat on my head.
Okay, go ahead.
So yes, nobody's going to fix that country in 6 months. I think that's part of. 6 years. I think that part of the problem we have in Liberia, and because of that, we always get frustrated with our leaders. So we need to understand that nobody can fix that country in 6 years. We also need to understand
and nobody can rescue you.
That no rescue, whatever, no president, no one president can fix a country. It has to be a combination of everybody: opposition, civil society, journalists, citizens. All of us have to come together and insist on the things that we want our leaders to do and to hold them accountable. If the person, the representative who's representing your district is not doing the right thing, there are channels. Hold them accountable. Don't let them come and bring money to you and hand it to you, and then you dance for them and put it, and then you say the government is corrupt, the government is not performing. The other point I want to make here is this. Is there anybody in this election who somehow will transform Liberia into the oasis of the world? No. What do we have, however? The only people who running, only one of them can be elected. And Jesus will never run for election on earth. If we're waiting for Jesus to be our president, then we are mistaken. He came, his time is over on earth, he's gone. What we need to look for here is, as I said, those three elements and qualities of leadership: the vision that has been articulated, not just what the people tell us. Anybody can go to anybody to write them a platform right now. I don't look at platforms. I don't even look at speeches. They are important. I'll listen to them. I'll read them, but I also look behind you. What have you done? What do you stand for? You're 50 years old. You're 60. You're 70. What position have you taken before on any critical issue of importance in the country? We have, as Liberians, to begin to look at these things. Yes, people can learn on the job, but let's not put people in place to learn in the most critical of the things that determine life and death. If we do so and they don't learn, or they don't learn at our pace, we're in trouble. So, do we have people in the election now? Yes, we do. But let's look at those qualities, and let's not just say nobody can do it. Yes, nobody can do it in 6 months, but we have people who can do it. But we all have to put our hands around them. But even if we're not putting our hand around it, we have to push them. We have to insist that they do the right thing.
Let me quickly
let me before.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me quickly remind the folks that the number is now posted: 404-272-2808, 404-272-2808. Please call. We want to hear from you. I see the numbers rising, and it's good that a lot of folks here in the conversation tonight. Tell us what you think. President Weah should be given a second term, or any one of these candidates can make a difference in 6 years, considering where our country is. We want to hear from you. You are the responsible citizens. Some of you going to be voting. So come here, call us tonight, and share your perspective. Go ahead, Jackson.
Yeah, let me make this point. Senator Barney made a point, and we didn't talk about it. He said, the Liberian people, they have the power to remove any lawmaker. The Liberian people have that power, but they have not exercised that power. You don't have to wait for election to remove a lawmaker. All you need to get us enough votes, the number of votes per the Constitution, I believe 10,000 votes in your constituency, and you can recall that person. And you can force that recall with the Election Commission. That's one. Two, he said that CDC officials are now going around the country dishing out money so that they can be re-elected. The Liberian people, you should be very careful, because ultimately, whatever decision you make in October, you will feel the pain. Whether it is a good pain or it is a worse pain, is left with you. When I was in Liberia, I met with a prominent Liberian. He and his wife, they had a dinner for my wife. And the wife made this point, said, this election, you're trying to save this country. This election that is coming, CDC is willing to use cash violence. She kept saying it over and over. And that's what we are seeing right now. Because they failed to deliver to the Liberian people, now they are coming back to the Liberian people, giving them handouts and telling them to re-elect them. Well, I will borrow from Joe Howard Taylor. Eat their money, but don't vote for them. Because your future is at stake. You need job. to be able to earn a decent living, to take care of your family. You don't need anybody to put 5 cents in your pocket. You need a government that is going to provide an enabling environment for you to be able to thrive, to take care of yourself, to build your own home, to drive your own car, to work. That's the government you must elect. And I just want to say this, why it is true that I know and I believe that the situation in the country is complex and enormous, and the people that are running will not be able to handle it in the span of 6 years. You should vote wisely.
A reminder quick again, 404-272-2808. We want to hear from you guys. Call, share with us. You think Weah should be a second-term president? Has he done enough to be considered? Or we should look in the other 29 candidates, because I'm sure somebody there. And just stop looking at the 3 in the front. Let's go way to the tail. Maybe the correct president, sometimes it's not the number 1 pick in the draft. Nikola, I'm coming, gentlemen. Let me add a little bit of sports to it. Nikola Jokic was 41 pick in the NBA draft. 41 pick. 2 MVP in the league. MVP final last night. One of the best centers the game ever known. So sometimes our president could be way to that tail, but you're looking at Cummings, you're looking at Baka, you're looking at Weah, you're looking at Gong. Our president could be among those 30 people.
It goes back to the same thing I was saying, that you don't know the worth of somebody until you give them responsibility.
Absolutely. And
See that?
That's
That's what you just gave. And
Yeah.
So
we got a lot of people, Moses.
Election.
But the question, why are they 29?
We are making 30.
Everybody wants to be president.
Really?
Yeah, small country. Everybody.
Why? And we want to give people a chance to prove their worth. So why? That's why they put them.
Everybody.
Our yardstick is anybody can get it and try their luck, and whatever. If that's the yardstick, then people go there.
In honesty, I think it's necessary. So we can just always focus on the 3 or 4 front runners. Let broaden the race.
Yeah, but
this job is important. This is the most powerful job in the country. So let everybody. Myself will go try to. It's just late now.
But Volcano, so some of these guys that are running, they know within themselves that they have no chance.
Yeah.
But they are only doing it to have political leverage. Maybe when they go to the second round, then they will say, "My man, I will support you. What do I get in returns?" It's all about themselves. It's not about the Liberian people.
Wait a minute. The people say I should pin the number. The number that I can put here. Your kids.
Pin the number. Right. Okay. Yeah.
404-272-2808. 404-272-2808. Please call. The number is there. 404-272-2808. It's right there. It's pinned. Except your own gadget. I don't know what you're doing. Go ahead.
But Volcano, right? I heard you talking about why we're not making reference to individuals who are down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Even the great United States, before you get to a certain level when it comes to election, if you don't meet certain quota, my man, you will not be listed. Yeah, you will not be listed. So somebody who is way to number 25, why waste the time to talk about that person? Because the person is basically not going nowhere. The person just want name recognition, Yeah, just one name recognition. Yeah. So like Sidon says, so that when it's time for negotiation, you say, yeah, my man, that won't be deputy at finance, and yeah. And so that's what happened. But what I would like to say tonight is that this election, which is less than 4 months from now, I can tell you it's going to be a deciding moment whether Liberia, move forward or remain stagnant. That's why it's important for the electors. The education that we have provided tonight, or we are providing tonight, we're not saying all these things because we hate anybody.
What's this? I gotta interrupt you. Got a caller.
Yeah, sure.
Calling from 8737. Welcome to the show. Caller, are you there?
Is a caller there?
Caller, you're live. 8737-401 Rhode Island.
Caller not coming through.
Yeah, caller, you are live. I don't know why.
Yeah, hi, Volcano. It's me, Flomo Livingston.
Oh, okay,
Thank you
good,
for
good.
taking my call.
Yeah, welcome to the
Can
show.
you hear
my
me?
man. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
good.
we do, Flomo. Welcome.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Flomo. Go ahead, make your point.
Hello?
Yeah, but Flomo, my man, how you acting so? You can hear me? Yeah, go ahead, make your point. You're live.
Yeah, hi, Volcano. It's me, Flomo Livingston. Thank you for taking my call.
Say yes. Welcome, Flomo.
Not hearing you.
Go ahead, just make your point. Make your point.
You guys are making great points, and I appreciate it. Well, all the Teddy's candidates, I mean, you said they are good one among them, which I agree. But again, for me, you have to win before you govern. So if someone's in the way you got, but maybe someone who I mean, the Lebron people don't know, how would they govern if they don't win? So that's my question. I mean, you can have all the best, you can have all the good candidates and stuff, but if you don't win, you can't govern. So it'll be a waste of time if they just have 10 people who maybe have some qualified one among them, but they can't win the election. So what point does it make if you don't win? So I just try to call to make that point.
So one of the things too, if we're having debates, we know the other people because some other people in the back, they didn't give them the opportunity. No, the pathway to the Liberian presidency is a free ride. It just takes a few people who been around the circle and they just kind of put themselves there after the steal, right? So we don't debate, we don't look at track record, we don't look at those things. So I think the third candidate, we all need to look at him.
But again, you debate. How many people get TV that'll be able to watch you guys debating? How many people in the intro, the old man way in the intro? How was she or the old man way in the intro? How will he be able to listen to the people who doing the debate? The people don't have TV. They don't even have phone that they'll be able to watch it. So you gotta put that into consideration when you're doing the debate. So the debate will be for the people in Maserati.
So Flomo, you make an important
So you
point.
tell me how would I impact the people, the someone way in Lofa County there or way in Sando who doing their farm who don't even have TV or radio to listen to the debate. So how would they be able to make good decision?
In fact, some of the people you calling in Lofa County already decided that Bagada the man, so it will be a waste of time.
So let me say,
hold on, let me let the man go. Thank you, Flomo. Thank you for your time. We
I
appreciate
thought
it.
you were going to stay on and listen, but anyway, yeah. But there are multiple ways to do that, Flomo. You can have a debate. One of the ways you can do it, I followed the debate. That's the last senatorial by-elections, I believe, in Lofa County. So there's this debate organization in Liberia. They actually went to Lofa County and had a debate in Lofa County. I'm saying this to say that there are multiple ways you can do it. When we were growing up and stuff, we didn't always have televisions, but there was radio, there was ELBC, there was ELWA, there was this stuff. So debates can take place in those existing platforms. Good for us now. Almost every city, every county, every city in Liberia has a radio station now. So the debates can take place on those radio stations. They can also have debates in regions of the country, in the counties. So you can have one debate. First debate can be held in Monrovia. Second debate can be held in Southeast Liberia. Third debate can be held in Northern Liberia to give people access. And our people need to be given the opportunity and the access to participate. Very quickly, when I did a professional attachment with an organization in South Africa, a nonprofit, here's what it did. They used to bring people from the villages to the regional capital city, to the legislature, to their capital building, to go there and see what their legislators are doing, especially during budget debates, during debate for education, those kind. They bring the people and the people go to the capital building and sit down there. Is my legislator just a bobo sitting down there not saying anything? Is my legislator fighting to put money in it for my village, for a school, for a clinic, for those kinds of things? They watch those things. And
Okay.
then,
Let me take this call, Alphonso.
yeah,
Sorry.
absolutely,
Call
absolutely.
from 8515. Can you hear me? Are you there? Hello, caller. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah. Go ahead. You're live. Your name?
Hello?
Caller, you're live. Your name and where you calling from?
Hello?
The person
Caller,
is monitoring
caller,
something.
you are live. You are live. Your name and where you calling from?
This is Gabriel Daniels from Pennsylvania.
Oh, Mr. Daniels, welcome.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead and make your point. Please make your point.
A keen listener of your program, and I follow your trend when it comes to issues in our country, Liberia. But this is not a mistake. I've told the panelists, Moses and Seaton, over and over again that the guy that is going to be president of Liberia, the George Weah guy, is not competent enough. They have challenged me, and they are seeing it for themselves. The country has failed. Now, our best bet is, as Alphonso said, or Volcano said, that the person that is to be president, maybe the person is at the back, and we are looking at the front runners. For us Liberians, we always look at front runners. We don't look at who is going to have this country at heart. So for me, the three most important people in the race, I don't consider them to be any better than what we are going through now. So let us look at people who have our country at heart and elect them into power. I submit. Thank you.
Okay. Let me just make this point. I think.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels.
Let me just make this point. Gabriel called my name. Yes, it is true that during the several debates that we had, several arguments that we had, I personally were pushing Mr. Weah to be president. And as I stated before, and I will say it again, you don't know the worth of somebody until you give them responsibility. Now, let me go back to the issue of the debate. Mr. Yunon said that, you can bring people from, let's say, for example, the Southeast, you can bring them from everywhere and bring them to the regional capital. Places like the Southeast is going to be a little bit difficult. And I'll tell you the reason why. I went to Southtown. From Southtown to a town they call Dayokbo, it took 8 hours to walk. So how, and the roads are not possible. There are no roads. How can you get people to walk 8 hours to come to just listen to a debate? So the situation in the country is challenging. In all facets, it's challenging.
Let me make my point quick, man.
Yeah.
So here's my point. When I said go to the back of the line,
a salient point, yeah.
We got 30 people in the race and even counting. When the prophet Samuel went to the house of Jesse, he went on a mission.
For Baptist Church.
So what happened here? Jesse brought all his top sons, right? We know the story in the Bible. He brought all his top sons, the boys who were front runners. And the Bible said that God spoke to Samuel and said, the men, they got the best resume. They got 40 years. They are the doyen. The other one got the broom. They won't say he corporate. But let's go to the back. Mr. Jesse, do you have any other son? Jesse kind of thought about it. He even forgot his son, King David. He said, you know what? Yeah. I got my little last son. But I begin in the field there. He watching the sheep. I'm a beginner I can send to watch the sheep. And Samuel said, listen, you got to bring him. The spirit said, I need to see all your boys. And sure enough,
Shepherd, yeah.
What happened? David came and he was anointed. The point I'm making here, gentlemen, and I'm being honest here. You're looking at Baka, you're looking at Cummings, you're looking at Gonglo, you're looking at this, all because they're in the front. But we got 30 plus candidates. Our president could be way behind there in the line. way behind there in the line. So Liberian people, y'all got to start looking at the candidates, not the first three. The David could be in the back of the line among those 30 people. The David is there. If we must change our country, we are already showing us that he saw King Saul, okay? King Saul, right? We has shown us he King Saul. We're looking for a replacement, and that replacement could be way to the bottom of the line. That's the point I wanted to make. Liberian people.
Yeah. So
Who
here's
want,
the point.
who want challenge it?
I'm taking it. I'm taking it on. I'm not necessarily challenging it, but
Okay, go ahead.
I'll give my view regarding that. Absolutely, all of the candidates in the race who are running should be considered by people who believe in them, who know them, who believe in them. Absolutely. My only caution here is in looking at candidates, we should look at a number of things: their competence, their ability, their qualification, their experience, and then also what they're saying, the blueprint, the platform, regarding where they want to take the country. We should definitely look at those. We should also look at we should also look at
The man
Flo-
say, hold on,
Flo-
hold on, the
Flo-
man.
Fire.
Flomo
Flo-
Livingston say, while low in the back of the llama,
Yeah.
while
We're
look
not
at
being
that.
Costa.
But there are a few two other points I want to make. Then we cannot underestimate the concept of electability. That's important in every election around the world. The second point I want to make regarding that is that we as the people need to be the ones that would direct and hold our leaders accountable. They say power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Absolutely.
If we put somebody there, the person can have all of the good ideas and good intentions, but if we do not put guide rails around them, they can fall off the cliff. That's why we have institutions. That's why we have the media as the fourth estate. That's why we have the legislature. That's why we have the judiciary. That's why we have civil society organizations. They also say that when you are very deep in a hole, your first step should not be to climb on top of the tree. Try to climb out of the hole first. So maybe where we are now, we need to take baby steps before we start running and start driving cars. So let's also keep that in mind. I will think of we got 4 months to go. I don't know if Dr. Telfer Almons is able to. He just got his party just got certified that he's able to leapfrog all of those people and win the election. If he's able to, fine. But I think we should also be a little practical as we approach the elections as well.
And let me make
Hold on,
this.
hold on. I want you to make your point now. We're closing this segment because we gotta go to whatever country. So let's go around the room and make our quick 1-2 meetings points. In closing, if Weah should be president for a second term, or we think that he's not up to the task, and we want to look at someone else.
Well, a couple of things. I think the country needs a new direction. Whether if the Liberian people want to re-elect Weah or elect another person, it is their decision to make. But I personally believe that the country is treading in the wrong direction and it needs to reverse course. Now, we are looking at only President Weah. We are not looking at the national legislature. The national legislature, it is that branch of government, the first branch of government, are supposed to hold the executive branch of government accountable. Most of the people that are in the national legislature, and this is my opinion and I'm entitled to it, I believe, are not up to the task. They don't know the reason for which they are in the national legislature. And so the Liberian people, in as much as they want change, they should not only look at the presidency, they should also look at the national legislature and remove those fire those representatives and senators who are going around, who have done nothing for their constituencies, and who are now going around dishing out money to them.
Thank you, Moses.
Well, I would like to piggyback on what Seaton said that in fact, Seaton, you honor rated the number. I would say 90% of our lawmakers got no clue in terms of what they are doing in the legislature. These are the people that they are only there for one agenda. The party interest must prevail. So those are the people that got us in this mess. And I would like to wrap it up by saying that of all the candidates in Liberia, I'm one of the many individuals who strongly believe that George Weah is not a good fit for the presidency. Retaining him will lead to more human degradation in Liberia. He has to go. Yeah.
Thank you. So my reserve is that let's look at all of the candidates and find a David among them. Okay, that's how I'm going to put it. But gentlemen, thank you so much. Great conversation here.
Alphonso.
We took a lot of
Alphonso. Okay. Okay.
No, yeah, he didn't give me a chance to a judgment on Weah, but I leave it.
No. Go ahead.
I don't want to say No. I was just kidding. I did make my point. I agree with you all, man. Look, and these are legislative elections also. We should keep that in mind. This is not just presidential election. There's presidential and legislative elections. The legislators are the representatives closest to the people. So we have to insist electing good legislators is the good beginning point for the country.
Because they will help to hold the executive accountable. But again, thank you so much for this segment, gentlemen. This is the segment. A lot of people call me now and tell me that they can wait until they come to this, until we rather come to this segment, because it's time to laugh, it's time to jab, and it's time to enjoy ourselves. Yeah. But look, you can't do anything about it. Let's enjoy it. So, Jackson, I don't know if you know anything about what type of country is this.
Introduce it, man.
What type of country is this? One of our men were here saying, "Oh, the president, he's doing laudable things. The man should deserve a second term." But soon as he got to Liberia, he said, I see the reality. I said I go to Liberia every year. But the man go there and come back and say, what type of country is this? I mean, when you say diehard sedition supporter, Jackson TSC Ton.
Let me just make this clear.
Let me go ahead.
I am not a sedition.
No, I said diehard supporter.
No, I'm not a supporter of the CDC.
Okay.
I'm
Go
not a
ahead.
physician, neither am I a
Yeah.
supporter of the CDC.
But you are
But
Lord.
I was one person who told President Weah that he could
He
be,
be
president of
president. Yeah, that one
Liberia.
that's
You
true.
Lord,
Give
you
him
I am
the
Lord,
one
credit.
and
president.
you
I'm,
lauded
hold
his
on,
efforts.
and
Yo,
I'm
ask
one
them again.
person, who believed then that George Weah would have made a difference in Liberia.
Yes.
And you lauded his effort in the beginning, but you went to Liberia and you saw the stark reality, and
I
you
saw the stark reality, and
Okay.
look, to be quite honest
Gabriel,
with you,
Gabriel
the
Daniels,
country
Gabriel
is on
Daniels,
the wrong trajectory. It needs
Yeah.
to reverse course.
Gabriel
Yes.
Daniels. Thank
So
you,
listen,
Gabriel Daniels. Gabriel
Thank you,
Daniels,
Mr.
thank you
Zeno.
for exposing Seaton Connect.
listen,
But
listen.
it's
Wait,
an
They
open
didn't supposed to.
secret.
Yeah,
Seaton,
yeah.
this
It's an
part is
open secret.
Seaton, this part is not about fixing things. It's not about arguing. It's not about setting the record right. You just accepted the fact that you went to Liberia and your perception has changed.
Change,
What type
man,
of country
change,
is
What
this?
is this?
Yeah, that's all. What type
Yeah.
of country is this, Thomas Awaji, where the people rely on us in the diaspora for $5 to buy food?
What type of country is this?
What type of country is this? What type of country is this, Flomo Livingstone? That 40th sedition lawmakers endorsing President Weah,
Who is
who's
also a
also a
citizen?
citizen. So I think that's the irony here. That's the irony.
But that, I didn't even call that endorsement.
Yeah.
Because your own people coming to say we were you, so that's not no endorsement.
It's a strategy for them to get their own money to go
Yeah.
campaign for themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Listen,
What type
gentlemen,
of country is
that's
this?
a very smart way to put it.
Yeah.
Endorsing sedition.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So can get one of court.
very, very
Yeah, you
Because
know.
you remember Barney said that he went to visit Joe Howard Taylor. Joe Howard Taylor had $500,000 in a bag and said, look, my man, you had the money
Yeah,
here.
money there.
Yeah, take your you can sign a framework document. You say you're not signing.
What type of country is this, Tamawaji, where people get stuck and sleep on the muddy roads
Yes, that what
for a
Barney
whole
said.
week just to travel to another county?
What type of
What
country
Barney
is this?
What type of country is this?
What type of
Is this hashtag Shaggy McCaffrey that Jackson Seaton is running away from CDC and George Weah now?
what type of country is this that somebody will get a motorbike from Grand
never
to
a
go to
sedition.
Maryland to go charge battery, to go charge cell phone battery?
That's cell phone. So that's why when we call the people in the village, they can take the phone out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine when you travel from Grand to Maryland to charge your cell phone?
Well,
And to be honest with everybody, this is not personal. Nobody hit anybody that is working.
It's just for the fun, yeah.
This is not about any individual. This is about the Liberian people.
That's true.
This is about what we are going to leave behind for our children's children.
Yes.
This is not personality. It's not personal. So nobody should take anything that we have said here tonight to be a personal vendetta against anybody.
No.
What we are saying here is we want this country to move forward. That's all we are saying.
Yeah.
My man, stop the speech. I won't lie. What type of country is this? My man, Liberia say, when a carpenter is selected to perform heart surgery.
Exactly.
What type of country is this?
And we say, let him try a lot when maybe we will do better.
Yeah. What type of country is this, Thomas Awaji, where market women sit in the sun and rain, but make no money because the consumers don't have money to buy the
No money to buy the goods. Yeah.
They got pay. You take it and pay later.
What type of country?
What type of country is this that people cooking next to dead water and trash is now the norm? But listen, gentlemen, hold on. Let me play this clip quick, please.
So we are here in Rye where we have come to speak to the marketeers. Unfortunately, we made up this battle of dice here at the commercial center of Rye, and we told a while to bring this to the attention of the authority, so at least they can make an effort to get this dike removed. This is happening right here in Rye. It's happening right here in Rye, especially the row that had just been, in fact, the construction of this road has not yet been completed, but the dike is taking one side of the road. The iron that was placed to this area to barricade the market here from selling at the main road, the iron have been taken away, and in fact, the journey of the dike is one way or the other affecting the cement or the concrete that have been placed here.
Wow. Ooh.
This is Weah Light.
What is it, Mayor?
It's very huge. I'm not even telling you about the drainage here.
Where is the city mayor?
I tell you, boy. Hey, man.
This area is extremely dirty and filled up with dike. Even as we are speaking to you, others are still here dumping dike, but we don't know the reason that are leading to.
My man, look at the drainage, my man.
Get this area clean. It is the Pinsville City Corporation or the Liberia Marketing Association don't actually know who's plugged with the responsibility to have this area clean. But I think there's a need for intervention to have the debt be removed. There's a need for intervention to have this debt be removed. Like I said, you keep sharing, keep following. We are still here in Red Light. I'm here with my colleague, Caroline Jensen.
And look at the stones.
How far is it going? You see how far is it going?
Where is the Peaceville City Corporation?
In fact, the dike is moving inside the road. You can see all this iron. The structure that was placed here. Can you talk to us, Mama? Can you talk to us?
So, gentlemen, I just wanted to throw this in here because what type of country is this where its major business hub is looking like this? I've been around many places in my lifetime where people commute all over the world to come and buy. Those places are kept clean and neat. But Red Light, as a major business hub, look at this scene. This
man, look at the stores, man, run there.
The will, power.
No.
Mayor does not have the willpower.
No, the political will is not there.
No one has the willpower,
No,
and
the
we
will
don't
is not
have
there.
responsible citizens. I come back to say that. Responsible citizens. Look at this, man. Let's also talk so, gentlemen.
Volcano, I'll push back.
Is this?
I will push back a little on the responsible citizen piece.
Absolutely, that I will push back onto.
I'll push back a little.
Look, it requires.
Look at that amount of debt. Where you expect the citizen to put it there? They can't keep it.
We still going right now. I got tired.
They got to put it somewhere.
Look, Volcano, let's go to Rwanda.
But I have to run, guys. I got to go pick up my daughter.
Every day in a week, every day, there's one day in a week in Rwanda, everything shuts down and they do cleanup of Kigali. Kigali is the cleanest city in Africa. As we speak, the cleanest city.
Man, even Asmara, Eritrea, clean, beautiful place. I'm telling you,
leadership inspire the people.
Man, we correct, man. Let's go back to our what type of country is this, man? I'm tired with it.
But I just wanted to say quickly, right? Like what we're looking at over there, the city government in Pinsville, Seaton, they're collecting money from those marketeers.
Of course.
Then what is happening to that money that they collect from the people? They can't get rid of the garbage.
And the funny thing about the whole thing, you have a representative that is representing people in the national legislature.
But I just want representative.
President, we are going to tell the legislature again to call the city mayor asking what is happening.
You know how many representation in Queensville locale in the house? You have you have Swag Wrestling, Swag Coco.
All these people, man.
You have a lot of them. You have a lot of them. But let's come back to it. What type of country is this? Where like Thomas Awaji said, the people are selling, they're cooking, they're frying the killer willy, they're frying the color.
Everything, my man.
That's why.
Oh yeah, it's normal.
That's why typhoid fever.
What type of country is this?
Diarrhea,
tuberculosis, everything.
It's prevalence in Liberia.
Yeah.
What type of country is this? Where 7-year-olds are selling in traffic instead of being in school.
Yeah. And just imagine that's the major city.
What type of major
city? Now, what's happening? Now, only the major city now. If we're only looking at the major city, if that is happening in Monrovia,
then what's about the cities outside? Yeah, the countries. Yeah.
Oh man, you lead a conversation here. Like, what type of country is this?
Nobody mentioned the same.
That has compound.
What type of country is there that has compound?
Yeah, Alexander Hills. You saw the compound?
I like that. Yeah.
They are taking his own compound.
Yeah. And my man, what I saw, look at those stores, right?
What type of country is this? Where the people celebrate a football field instead of demanding better education and jobs.
Yeah. What type of country?
What type of country is this? Thomas Awaji, I go one notch. Where the people celebrating the little parks, where they could be celebrating the removal of the dye.
Yeah.
Bring back dignity to the communities. What type of country is this where we miss our priorities?
What type of country?
Dye removal should be a celebration.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, look at the dye down there, the years of dye. You can see the dye turn to Scarlington. Have you seen the dye?
I think maybe one day we may need to discuss the way forward for Liberia. Because
Jackson, hold on here, Jackson. Have you ever seen? Good idea, yeah. But man, you're way back. Have you ever seen dye turn to Scarlington?
No.
But you see
right there, you saw the person, you're a human being.
Yeah, that's turning to Scarlington. They put it there. Hold on, Moses. They put it there. It was fresh.
It turned to
Scarlington.
Yeah. Can you imagine that?
And that's the one we've seen, though.
Yeah.
And when you go into the various communities, if you look at the living condition of the people,
it's sad.
Have you ever seen dye turn into Scarlington? The fresh dye was there until it decayed into a Scarlington.
No.
What type of country is this that we have asked? Where is the city mayor?
Where I'm in the city.
The city is no longer a city but a village.
What type of country is this?
That cities are now turning into villages.
Villages, yeah.
All the amenities that were created to make a city a
taken
city
away.
It's no longer. They are all villages. What type of city is this?
It's sad.
What type of country is this? My goodness. Mapuho says, my goodness. Thomas Awaji said, Lord have mercy.
I tell you.
What type of country we have when feces is bubbling under the platform in Central Morovia?
But see, if you didn't learn anything now. What type of country is this?
Feces bubbling like in the street.
Yeah. You know, my mess on the manholes out. You know, the manhole when open, my man, you see the feces coming up like this.
What type of country we have? Sonin wind, that water that is put to Sonin, that's supposed to make sure that Sonin is not flooded.
Yeah.
Garbage
the boat garbage inside and flood the whole thing.
They flood the whole thing. And
they flooding it, they clogging it.
Yeah, what type of country is this? Can you imagine? I mean, the people build drainage. The people build drainage for the water to run to. Then the people take trash and throw it inside. What type of country is this?
What type of country is this, Emmanuel Jackson? The government can't create waste management institution. Yeah. What type of country is this, Flomo Livingstone?
That's not waste management institution. And the more citizens, those are private companies.
Yeah, that citizens are turning into focus and the government anything about.
Don't pay them. I think George Howard, the late, and with all kudos to him, George Howard tried. He was doing it. But you know, they were not paying him.
They were not paying, so he had to stop. So can you imagine like what George was doing? If he can just get few individuals with good laws in the country, they go and set up their own trash collection companies. You will be creating jobs and you'll be maintaining the city. Yes.
This segment, our conversation segment, let's keep
Yeah,
it.
no, I just say something, you know.
Is this where the citizen seems comfortable living in those conditions?
Yeah, what type of country is this?
What type of country?
They
What
got no
type of country
choice.
is this? At that day, it's big money.
Yeah, what type of country is this? What type of country is this where the country where you print $34 billion, but it's not in the banking system? What type of country is this?
What type of country is this, Shaggy McAfee, that we want and expect people to invest in the country when it's looking like this?
Yeah, what type of
Raymond
country
Clark,
is this?
what type of country is this? Only election time government officials can know their citizens' importance.
What type of country is this?
And he's
That's
right.
a good one. Yeah.
What country is this? What type of country is this? Jackson, don't come mess up our segment here. He's laughing at you. What type of country is this after 30 senior that we need to move from the map of the world?
What type of country is this?
We need to move from the map of the world. It's like we're not even supposed to be yet. What type of country is this? Roger Podcast, Good, Bad, Ugly. The tour of other cities in the country is the same. Banga is one of them. Very dirty.
Wow. But Seaton said it.
What
He said us have Monrovia.
that people don't have pride in themselves and their communities.
What type of country is this, man?
They have it looking like that.
Yeah,
Where
nobody
do
cares.
diseases and viruses come from?
Mhm.
In these diets.
What type of country is there when you go in the community?
Hold on. Look
Yeah.
at that one. I like that. Alexander Hayes. What type of country is this where dirt and citizens share the same territory?
Yeah, man. Great
They
show,
live
man.
together. They live in harmony.
Yeah, the man, the dead and all sharing apartment. You got your room, I got my room.
Oh God.
He said, "My man, we're in our room now." They said, "Oh, that copa."
that dead cool bear. I like that. That and citizens are in harmony.
Sharing the shin room. What type of country is this? What type of country is this where you give money to somebody to go buy something for you? They can't get you no change.
They can't get you change.
What type of country is this where people living in the mansion?
I'm telling you,
I tell you.
I'm telling you, and this one here, my man, it started from Dortmund Town.
Yeah, right? Yeah, can you imagine all the way capital?
Yeah, opposite the former lands and mines there.
Yeah, all those dreams are.
Pussy quarter, eh?
Yeah,
Pussy quarter.
Right across from the executive mansion.
Look at all the things shot there,
my husband, my father used to say, "I be damned."
What type of country is this?
Emmanuel Jackson said exactly, Mr. Sandy. Zogos could be employed in those companies.
Of
like
course.
the debt removal company.
Yeah, the debt removal. My man, you creating jobs.
What type of country will have people living in a graveyard?
They may not break the cemetery. They break the tomb and put the casket outside and move in it.
So you saw it firsthand, right? Right, Jackson?
Yeah. When you went to library, you saw it.
Yeah, it's serious.
Damn, I mean, that's scary.
But listen, Alexander here come back with another one. He said, "What type of country is this where debt has become carpet?"
And that's true because you go to Pinsville area, there's a carpet right there, people walking on it. It's normal for the people, man.
Oh God. What type of country is this? That's so good problem.
Local problems are not being put under control. That's a serious national security problem.
Oh, yeah, but middle guys are national threat. I mean, they are threat to national security.
Yeah.
The locals, my man.
Listen to the one. Shaggy McAfee say hashtag. What type of country is this where people in debt now have passport? You got to tell. You know what it means? Figuratively, you see the debt moving from that position and going all the way They're traveling.
Yeah.
They're traveling.
Traveling. Is the people in there have passport?
Whatever
country is it?
Must I go back? So
Yeah.
so they and people are living in harmony. He said they got in the single part.
They see cover. He said, man, that one room there. They say, oh, that cover. And then they say, who got out of room? He said, man, that charcoal. Now they come here. They say, oh, that on the room over there. They say that empty sardine cup.
Oh
God.
But hold on. I see one vegan room down there. That who room is it? No. That room for black bag. That room for black trash bag.
That one for black bag. Trash bag.
Everybody living. Human beings are living together in harmony. Human beings. What kind of country is this that human and die are coexisting?
Yeah.
Living together. Living together. Shaggy. What type of country is this? What type of country is this? When the citizens do not know they have power to remove their legislators, and when they are not performing.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people don't know.
Yeah, gentlemen, I want to say thank you, man.
We are about to wrap up. We ourselves, we are about to wrap up.
3 more minutes. Hang on.
Okay, all right.
Hang on. Get one more quick. Get one more. What type of country is it?
Let me tell you from the ground, my man. Get one joke.
What type of country is this? When you go transact any business to any government ministry, they ask you to pay a certain fee, but yet they say you must shake people's hands.
Yeah, whatever country. Whatever country is there when you go to the bank to withdraw money and then
you
tell them
shake somebody's hand.
But tell us
your own money, oh my man.
Tell us your experience, your arrival. What happened at the airport? What type of
country is this? We get to Rabat International Airport. All of the security people, they tend to bag handler.
It's trying to see you.
Everybody tend to bag handler.
They said, big brother, I got your bag, man.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, let read these last ones.
Wow, it's sad.
Oh, I didn't get to this. Okay, that's Christopher Western. What type of country is this when the citizens do not know? Okay, they have power to remove. We read that.
Yeah, we
what
did.
type of country is this? Emmanuel Jackson, the education minister, set his policy for education improving. Probably he meant improvement by giving him $1 billion.
Yeah, what type of country
is this? Shaggy McAfee. Okay, he must indict coexist. What type of country is this, Thomas Awaji, where the senators and legislators can go urinate behind the Capitol building because there's no indoor plumbing?
Yeah, my man.
What country is this where there has become mountains and hills?
They just throwing in there, my man.
Our new landscape.
Yeah, just throwing in.
Hold on, what type of country is this where there has become landscape?
I know, it's crazy, man. Yeah. But
what type of country is this, Shaggy McAfee, that you pay the security man at the bank for him to let you in, for you to get your own money if you don't have on you?
Yeah.
You have to pay him on the way out.
Yeah.
And that's true. The security man standing at the door. You gotta get something before you enter the bank because he said the bank full.
Yeah. Can you imagine that?
It happened to me. He saw a mask to me.
Yeah.
He's not wearing mask.
Yeah. Oh, you saw his to you.
Yeah, he saw mask to me, but he's not wearing mask. He said at the bank room. I said, well, how about you not wearing mask? He said, we're already here. I went in the bank. So he saw the max to me for $50 liberty.
Look at that.
Then I gave him small thing because he said the line was long.
Yeah. So he won't put in for you.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Hey, man, carry me. I walk with him. He carried me straight to the teller. He said, the chief here, he texted me the man. He has a message. All right. Then the person who was straight in front of him, he said, hold on. Then he took my information. He went in the bag. He came back, checked the money. Then thing, and I walked while the line was still long. Wow. What type of country is this? You're supposed to be corrupt.
Yeah.
You won't do it, but you're
forced to be corrupt.
You're forced
to be corrupt.
Let's take the last two and wrap up. What type of country is this? That's one more here.
Yeah.
Right there in Peaceville is now called Mount Peaceville.
What type of country is this where dishonesty has become institutionalized? What type of country is this? Everybody. The thing is a culture, my man. You gotta fit. Other
Yeah.
than that,
Yeah, it
consider
has
you
to
an
be.
outsider.
We need a leadership that can break it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so sad.
And even as much as you don't want to do it, what can you do?
I mean, that's a
You're
culture now.
vulnerable.
You
Yeah,
gotta
you're
fit.
vulnerable. You're the last man standing.
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
fall. You can't stand.
Yo,
If
you
you
can't
go to the
stand.
bank,
You can't make it.
if you go to the bank, you say, "My man, I'm giving you nothing."
So I ain't ready, man.
I'm at the bank for the man staying away. What you gonna do? You go for the man.
Say, man, ready.
The man said, "Hey, mask." The man said, "Mask to me. He wearing mask,
Yeah.
but I have to buy. I had it made for America, so I have to accept it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen,
So
That's it.
it was
So
nice, man.
yeah, but
yeah, so we are wrapping now.
good to see
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
So thank you, Mr.
Take care,
Seaton,
brother.
for coming.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure coming.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Better
you.
appreciate the time spent together. Yeah.
But listen,
So great show. Yeah.
I thought it was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
We continue to all these kinds of conversation. Our elections is around the corner. We
Yeah.
really got to make the point.
Oh yeah.
We got to make the point.
Yeah, we
And
have to. We have to keep educating.
it is true that most of what we're saying here has its humor and its segment to make you and I laugh. But these are the realities that we must change, Moses.
Of course.
And I say this day in and day out. These are the realities that we must change. This is not a dream. This is real, Moses. This thing here is real. This is not a dream. You don't wake up and see this in your dream.
Oh, you do.
You see it. And that's the reality we must change. And for us to do that, it requires an exceptional amount of commitment.
Mm-hmm.
It requires the willingness of the leader to set the tune. If we had gotten out of his Jamaica Road resort or Jamaica resort, put on his short, his sneakers, put on a glove, grab some wheelbarrow and say, guys, we're going to red light. The first shovel that Weah throws, everybody would throw shovel.
Yeah, but that's it. Yeah.
Everybody would throw shovel.
And then you hold people accountable. You make sure you bring the equipment in the country.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, yeah.
So instead of moving the market to Ominga, you should be moving the die beyond Ominga.
Yeah.
And that's what we feel. So, man, good conversation. Thank you ever so much for being here tonight. Liberia. It was good seeing you, my brother. Alexander here is always good to see you. Continue to invite others to join us here in the issues room where we discuss the things that matter to Liberia, Africa, and the diaspora. We'll be back Friday, God's willing. We say good night to all of you. Thank you so much for being there with us. It was good conversation.
Definitely it was. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Enjoy.